Okay, I want to welcome everybody to our Unconventional Wisdom, the CSE podcast show. We have a phone number, open line this morning. If you want to call in, 214-377-1108, 214-377-1108, or you can send us a podcast, or an email to the podcast, which is just podcast, compoundsstockearnings.com. Excuse me, podcast, compoundsstockearnings.com. In this first section, I always kind of talk about something I'm going to discuss in the Cal Report editorial this weekend, and this deals with the benefits of being a CSE client. When we read this email, and we'll read my response, it just shows that with the passage of time, things don't run out with CSE. You're still our client. You don't have to pay us extra money. It says, "Dear Joseph, I've been with you for a long time, I think since 2006, 2007. I would like to know and get your advice which one of the programs that you can give me a monthly income, which would give me a monthly income of 5 to 6% per month. Please let me know." So I said, "Dear Michael, thanks for your note. Actually, we don't really need to speak." He wanted to speak. I said, "You can reap the benefits of being a CSE client. The reason for that is that you've been a client for 11 years and you're grandfathered in to our covered call leap service. What you need to do is email Sue Ann in our office, sueann@compoundsstockearnings.com. Give her the last page of your original seminar manual. She will ship to you all the updates to bring your manual up to date. There's no cost for this or taking the covered call seminar online or in person. You'll be amazed at all the new techniques on covered calls that we presently teach. When you were a first-time student 11 years ago, the covered call returns were only around 3% a month. Now you can get the 5 to 6% per month you're looking for using our covered call techniques. There have been so many innovations in online services that contribute to these higher returns. We have proprietary charting and tools that also make that possible. You need to update your manual, take the covered call seminar again to get up to date. After that, give me a call or email me, and I'll work with you on any problems you might have." That's the benefit of using CSE for our podcast listeners that may not have known that. You can come back forever, and you don't have to keep repaying, and you never lose your right to have us address your questions or whatever you might have. So I think that's important. One other thing, I'm always talking about the problems that states and companies and cities are having with retirement. Well, another one popped up a couple of days ago, Seattle, Washington. Now, Washington State doesn't have an income tax. Seattle has decided to place an income tax on its residents. This is really unusual. They have a few problems, but their primary problems is their pension to the city employees is woefully in the red. I mean, tremendously. And so here's another example of a city not being able to pay the retirement people. Now, ultimately, what they're going to end up doing eventually is making all these things 401ks or something, and people have to start doing it themselves. That's why it's important to learn the CSE techniques, because you can do it yourselves. Right now, they would have to be earning 7.5%, which is nothing for our people, for them to even be able to afford making any payments at all. And certainly, they're not making anywhere close to that. They're probably making 1 or 2%. In the meantime, they have to raise the taxes on everybody in the city to cover that deficit. Of course, if they were using CSE techniques, it'd be substantially higher than that. Okay, Cezanne and Joni, I know y'all have had a busy week. I know that over the course of since last Thursday, there's been a couple of really great trades in really quick periods of time. Why don't you guys pick up and tell us about what you've done last week?
Monday had an apple trade, and I don't remember, but I think that was the only apple trade this week was Monday, and I think we had a couple last week.
Yeah, then I had a QQQ is an exchange traded fund, and I had a trade yesterday for 3.6%. So it's been a good week, been an active week.
Cezanne, you didn't say what your apple trade. Look at your risk and see what you got written down there. What was your apple trade return?
I don't remember. I forgot to write it down.
And you know what? And really, because she's at my house, I said to her, "Can you please get your percentage? We're about to go on." And what did she do? Look at her.
I know. Well,
she couldn't find a pen to write it on her wrist.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 or 5%. It was pretty good.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So in the course of just 1 week, 5 days, y'all went up really, because you're not owed tomorrow, so it doesn't make any difference. But you've made 9%, 8%, something like that, which is more than most people make in the entire year. So that's good. And Again, I know it seems like we repeat this, but a lot of people listening for the first time. Kind of explain real quickly what kind of trades y'all do and what tools you use to do those.
So we trade the moment. So we use we use the advanced chart to determine support and resistance points before the market opens. And then we use streaming charts once the market opens and the particular equity is cycling to determine if upward or downward momentum is likely to occur. And then if so, we assess the other indicators to see if there's potential for a trade, to trade either the upward or the downward cycle.
And then what are you looking at to help you, do that stuff?
The streaming charts are what we're looking at that CSE has created to determine entry, exit, or just staying out of a trade altogether.
Okay. And for the people listening for the first time, they're on their seminars on Monday. Is the abbreviated seminar on Monday and Wednesday, and they try to right when the market opens, usually within the first 15 minutes. The seminar may not last more than 15 or 20 minutes because they both try to get a trade in. Sometimes they don't get a trade in, but sometimes just one of them gets a trade in. But the trade will last maybe a long trade is 15 seconds. I mean, that's a long one. And sometimes they're in and out so fast they can't hardly get the words of the emails out. But you get an email when they anticipate doing something, and you when they get it loaded up and ready to go, you know that, and you get your trading screen loaded up and ready to go. And then they say, okay, we've just entered into. Now, Joni does it a little more systematically and a little better. She says actually what she's getting ready to do. Cezanne, for some reason, has not gotten that in her head that she's going to have to do it that way too. But it's working out pretty good. It's working out pretty good. And then they tell you when they execute, and then they tell you when they get out. And then they give you the returns. If you follow those trades, they're doing those in their own accounts with real money, then you should really be doing well. And it's a real popular service. Randy, let's turn it over to you. You got a lot more to talk about. Your Tuesday evening free seminar, introductory seminars, and your 2 or 3 services and the returns. And when you think this Michael fellow that sent me the email be able to make using the latest covered call techniques, some you've invented, some are a result of regulatory rulings, like instead of one expiration a month, the third Friday, now you have them every Friday on the mini stocks. So Randy, why don't you kind of take over, and then we'll turn to Keith.
Yeah, and that's true, Joe. If he hasn't been actively involved in the seminars for like 10 years, there's definitely been huge improvements by adding new techniques to the seminars. So he'll get to learn those with no additional charge. But we have taken it to a whole new level because of the weekly options that are available, that we've added the platinum services as well. So we'll start back on Tuesday. So Tuesday evening is the free 2-hour introductory webinar. So during that time, make sure I'm on. During that time, I actually show how the compound stock earnings covered call technique works. We go through the screener. So we have a screener in the toolbox that goes out and searches for positions that have fundamental and technical requirements that are conducive to the stock going up. And then we construct and qualify it with the chart and show how to enter a covered call. So you get to see the whole kind of process end to end. In addition, I teach one of the management techniques that we have. And the management techniques are what have been developed to be able to generate income whether the stock goes up or not. We don't sell the stock for a loss if it starts going down. We just keep generating cash income on that position until it returns back up. So you get to see those techniques in action on Tuesday night and be able to ask questions about them. So you can see how the process works. So then you can decide to come to the full 2-day seminar where we spend lots more time teaching, and everything we teach is rules based. So you learn the rules and follow step by step, whether it's cover calls, whether it's credit spreads that Keith teaches, whether it's trade the moment that Joni and Cezanne teach. Everything has a set of rules, and you learn the rules and just follow the rules. So it's not speculation. We use our advanced charts and our charting knowledge to find and construct and implement the positions. Then this Saturday and Sunday, this weekend, is actually the next 2-day seminar on covered calls. So if people are real interested, they can sign up today and attend this weekend. And the seminars are all taught online. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to make huge plans other than the time to spend to participate in the seminar that's broadcast online. And then since 10 years ago, we have also introduced what we call platinum services. So Joni and Cezanne talked about their trade the moment platinum. Keith will talk about his credit spread, but we also have a covered call platinum. So that's what teach that kind of advanced covered calls, and you're able to have a live training webinar every single week. And so you can ask questions, you can see exactly how we go through step by step with managing each of the positions. And those are then recorded, so you can watch them over and over again. You got a hula girl there or what?
Yeah, I just always like to do crazy things, you know.
Yeah, Joe's trying to keep himself busy.
So, that's a solar powered hula girl. She sits there in the window and hoolers all day. So
there you go. Oh, solar powered one. So the
Yeah,
platinum
solar-powered, yeah.
services are great for those that want to kind of take it to the next level and get weekly teaching and coaching right along the way. And those positions, as you mentioned, when we find a position that we're going to put inside our own portfolio with our own money, we send an alert out that says, this is what we're getting ready to do. Now, Joni and Cezanne have to just say it right online because theirs is so fast. But with covered calls, it's not quite as fast. We say, this is what we're getting ready to do. Then we go place that order in our broker account. And once it gets filled, we send another one out that says, here's what just happened and here's the results. And then we follow that position along until it's finally closed out.
yeah, Randy, I
Yes.
think what's interesting about that is, and like it used to be, like when Michael, like say, was here 11 years ago, you didn't have near this activity. Cezanne and Joni's are really quick, but you have your momentum trades, which can close out in a day or in a couple of hours. But most of the covered calls you do now are weekly expirations. It used to be it was just once a month, and so that's why you only made 3 or 4% a year. You just didn't really have a lot to do. I used to say, it's the most boring technique. It makes you start drinking and taking drugs and stuff because there's not that much to do. But since then, and people can judge how fast, how many trades they want to make and how fast they want to do it. They can still do a third Friday expiration if that's all they want to do, which means they make one trade and then cut the computer off for a month. But you've innovated so much that they have that choice. If they don't want to be that active, then they don't have to be. You can do your momentum trades and be out within a day or two. So it's really, when you're describing it, you're describing it very accurately, but it's really much better than even you describe it. So I just wanted to give a little bonus talk there.
Good. And because of the weekly options, even the covered calls now, we're only in positions for 3 or 4 or 5 days. They get closed out at the end of the week. So I had Home Depot that closed last week for 4 days, 4.2% return. Have 2 more positions this week that will be in for 3 and 4 days. They'll close out tomorrow for 5.8 and 5.0% returns just for the week. So it is possible out there to make better than those pension funds are making at 4 or 5% for a year. If you can learn the techniques, which everybody, you don't even have to be a master at anything. We know Dirk that's not able to be on today. His son started doing covered call trading when he was 8.
Yep.
So you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to even have any experience with the stock market at all, because you learn every single step along the way and get outstanding training. And you get to come back over and over and over again to make sure that you've got it. For some people learn real quick and some take a little bit longer, but you don't have to be a genius, and you don't even have to be a stock market guru.
No, I think
how to manage your own money.
That's right. And the thing is, one of the most conservative techniques, which you just make astronomical amounts of money on, is just strictly many people like to buy the stocks and hold it for the dividends. And we described on this program, on this podcast last Thursday, also in the Cow Report, take a couple of good stocks or take one good stock, in this case, Apple. And Apple pays a dividend. And just buy the stock, hold the stock, never sell the stock, collect the dividend, but sell every month an out of the money covered call, which means there's no way this thing can go wrong, because at the end of the week, if you do it weekly, you're either going to get called out or you're not. If you're called out, you make a profit. It's out of the money, and you make a profit plus you keep the premium. If you don't get called out, you keep the premium, and that's income. And you got your stock, and you just sell another call for the next week. And it's much better. You're taking more risk just by holding the stock and collecting their equivalent to 1.6% a year return on the dividend payment, where you're making that almost on a weekly basis. Yeah, it averages up to about 88% a year you're making on that Apple stock. Incredible returns. So
yeah, it's like earning a dividend every week.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Learning the covered call process is a fantastic way to start. And then if you want to take it to a higher level and you want to have more activity and get even higher returns, you go into Keith's or Joni and Cezanne's platinum services, and they're just astronomical.
And people can find out about all these services. Go to our website, compoundstockearnings.com, and you can get information and see everything Randy's doing and what his services cost. Same way with Cezanne, same way with Cezanne, Joni, and Keith. So let's turn over to Keith, and Keith has these astronomical returns. And just these emails that I've been getting to put in the Cow Report, Keith, they've already gone into the Cow Report, come out this weekend. You've got people just making some really huge returns.
Yeah, we had a good week before last, and even last week on the very conservative approach on the CMIC, which is a iron condor. We made 8% last week on it. Actually closed it out this week. We opened it last Thursday and closed it out Tuesday morning for an 8% gain. And I just opened another one this morning before the podcast. And we're also doing the CSM trades that the credit spread momentums, which are really just more of a momentum trade as opposed to a credit spread trade. And those have been doing very well. And those are the returns that you're talking about. Some of the people were just getting up to 50% on the two trades. So two trades combined. So it was a good couple weeks, and just need to be patient and pick the right place to get in on these things. And it's been good.
Yeah, your trades are different than the other folks. Since yours may, you make one day and that trade may last a couple of days, but the returns is huge. That's okay.
Right. Yeah.
We kind of have something for everybody here, trade wise.
Yep. And then I do the webinar for the Platinum service on Tuesday at noon to 1:30, typically East Coast time, and go over questions, go over the charts, see what I'm seeing, and trades we've had and potential trades coming up. So do that there.
Okay. Well, very good. And usually we have Dirk, who's our CEO, discuss whatever things going on with CSE, but he's not here today, so. We'll kind of cut it off here. Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned the Cow Report and people that are writing in, but I don't think you mentioned that it's a free weekly online email newsletter that you produce every Friday, send it out Friday evening, and it's free. And you can sign up on the website at www.compoundstockearnings.com. Just go to Knowledge Base and click on Cow Report, put your email address, and that's it. And you start getting that free report every week that'll help keep you up to date on what's going on and see all those things that all the clients are sending in.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And, they see all the things people writing in. They get that my little editorial. So they really get a feel for what's going on at CSE. And, again, we have people that we've been in business 15 years. I guess most of them we hear from, the oldest ones are like, one been with 11 or 12 years. I guess the rest of the ones have died or something. But you can come to those seminars that Randy and I do live every now and then, and there'll be people that have been with us 10, 11, 12 years that are there. And it really is great because it helps the brand new people that are there also. So they can see, hey, these people have been doing this a long time. So, okay, well, if nobody else has any comments or anything, we'll call it a day. And Cezanne, you and Joni, glad you're going to be back on the road again. You're going to be hitting some rain probably.
There's a hurricane. Hurricane Harvey.
Exactly. That's right. Okay. Very good.
What is it? Hurricane Harvey?
Yes. It's headed towards Texas.
That's an old school name.
You sure it's Harvey?
Yes.
Sure it's Harvey? Was that such a dorky name, Harvey?
Oh, that's a nice old school name.
Come up with it.
That's like the 30s and 40s name.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real wall bang in town.
Yeah, it's Category 3 hurricane.
Yeah.
At landfall in Texas.
Okay. Okay, very good. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Thanks
Take
for all
care.
people listening. Bye-bye.
Have a good week,
Goodbye,
everybody.
everyone.